Today, I want to speak about me leaving the church. Me leaving the church. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Janville, and here you will find educational topics around self. You know, we focus on consumerism, being a conscious consumer, family, fitness, finance, food, fashion, fun. These are the spaces in our life that we have to show up for, and we choose to do it with style and grace. So welcome to the channel today. This conversation is really just speaking from my soul about my journey. I do speak with young ladies, and one of the very common topic is spirituality. And I totally understand that, especially in your 20s, when you're coming from childhood throughout the ranks of whatever system you've been placed in, whether it's a church, whether it's a school system, and all of us come through the school system, but I'm speaking specifically about the church today, which is the system that I was placed in at birth. I'll do a disclaimer, like this is no judgment. This is no do this or that. I'm beyond those days of my life. And hopefully when you leave here, you'll feel that way too. No guilt, no shame. But this is me just sharing my personal story and hope that I can inspire you wherever you are in your life, whatever phase you're in. Maybe it's a space that you need to just get some insight on how to leave, how to leave. And I'll start with listen to your soul, listen to your soul. Again, me being raised and born into the affiliation was called the Body of Christ, but I'll just say church for this particular conversation. You know, I had to, no matter what the religion is, as we know, there's many religions, there's many names, but for me, it was something that I had to do. I went to church every single Sunday and Wednesday throughout my entire childhood up into my adult life. And it was in my 20s when I made the decision to leave. And I left during a specific time in my life where it was definitely a transition and a chapter page turn. And I've shared that before. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on what I want to tell you today is that when you leave the church, or if you choose to leave the church, I promise you, if you continue on your personal journey, you will be closer to God. I became closer to God because what I found is God is within, and you can depend on that cornerstone in your soul. There is a piece of us that's placed in us upon birth. It is intuition, it is guidance, it is spiritual. We're born spiritual beings on a human journey. And when we go into the church, there's rules. For me, there was regulations. There was do this, don't do that, sin. And I felt conflicted. I felt guilty. I felt everything against who I normally, when I say who I am as a being, it was preached against. It was don't do. And from these earrings that I have on to the shirt I have on to, you know, makeup and nails and just things that I loved as a feminine woman. I am a feminine female. I loved hair, makeup, you know, I love earrings and how I dressed, and it was always wrong, just wrong for being myself. Again, I use fashion because that was a huge outlet for me. But I just felt wrong. My friends had to be in the church. I had no friends in the church. I'm talking about genuine friends. I had very healthy and genuine friends, but they all came from outside the church. Again, I realized I had to stop, look at my life. Nothing aligned with truly what I wanted. It came to a point when it was a major transition, major decision to get married. And that was now being spoke against. It's like, well, wait a minute, you know, and on that day, I never forget what day it was, but I left, and it did begin with communion. The church started taking communion, and that was a place the church had never taken communion before. So I remember they started taking communion. I never forget, I sat down, I never took communion. I never, because I am a person, I do things for purpose. Some things, you know, going to church and, you know, just doing things that your parents teach you, you're going to just do. And don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel bad about it. I don't blame my parents for any of that. There's no blame to be placed here. The only thing is responsibility and accountability and action, meaning really taking inventory of your life and what are you doing and how does it feel? And that's when it became real for me. Like taking communion, I didn't do it. I'm like, I'm sitting in the church where communion brings community, it's unity, it's supposed to be oneness. And I couldn't do that. I was like, it's time for me to go. It is time for me to go. Everything in my life is against what I'm supposed to be doing. And I had to make a decision, stay or go. And I remember I just left and I never went back. And I just began the personal development journey in many ways. I already was on my fitness journey in some ways, but just continued to move forward in faith and fear, honey. The fear was there, but I just kept moving forward. And I had moved in fear so much in my life anyway, because again, I was going against lots of the things that the church taught, I was going against that anyway. It's like, I might as well do it my way, in true freedom, because I felt so free. I definitely felt some guilt, and I missed some things about it, because it was a safe place. It was a comfortable space. It was what I had done all my life. But I promise you, when you choose your own way, and I'm not saying leave a church. It could be a relationship. It can be a job. It can be an environment. But what I'm telling you is, your intuition, your gut, the God in you will speak. And it's not from a drop out of the sky. It's not from a heavenly space. It's not from going to a book or a Bible to get spoken to. It is, you have two, I say, brains in your head and one in your gut. You have to listen to both. Our brain, to me, our subconscious, where our thoughts are, our patterns and behaviors, oftentimes those are coming from a place of rhetoric, regurgitation and things that have been taught to us. But our intuition is not typically that. It's not. We have to use both. And so I just want to tell you today, whatever space you're in, you can walk away. And I'll say this too. There was a young lady who we grew up in the church together, this particular church, which actually was my father's church. So have been going to church all my life. Up until about 14, my dad started his own church, and that's what started. We found it. My sisters and I, my mom, we were there. We built the church, meaning not physically, because there is no church physically, but renting and going to space. We were there. And, it took, because I had emotions tied to the system, to the situation. But what I had to release myself from is sin and feeling like my life wouldn't be covered and feeling like I was worldly. I had to release myself from all of these things. And some of these things may be funny to people, but if you have been where I've been, you understand me completely. And it's been a long journey. So I just want to tell you to keep your head high. And when you have to hang it and cry sometimes, honey, get back up and keep moving. Move forward in the direction of your own dreams. Move forward in the direction of your own goals. Move forward in the direction of the people that support you and love you and care for you, no matter what decision you're making, as long as it's not impacting them. Continue to ground yourself in the love that was given to you when you were born. There is nothing out here to confirm who you are. You were confirmed when you were born. So do not give your power away. Take your power back today. I wanted to say this, the young lady that I was raised in the church with, she walked up to me. We were the same age. At this time in her life, she was getting married too. And she looked at me, she said, "You're gonna leave the church?" And this is my peer. And I looked at her and I said, "I don't know." But the fear on her face, it was like a slave plantation. And that was the day I never looked back. It was just a confirmation of what I already had felt like. This is not meant for me. It's not meant for me. And again, have I attended church since I left that particular church? Of course I have. But to be a member or to feel obligated to do anything that does not feel right for me, I've released that need. And I want to encourage you, you can do the same. You can do the same. So stay true to your soul. That is where spirituality lies. It's within us. It is really just alignment of mind, body, and soul. That's it. It's not easy because, again, we do have patterns. We do have behaviors. We have ideology of what life should be like. But this thing is really an experience that only you can have with yourself. God created, never duplicated. And if you're looking left and right, everybody doing the same thing, dressing the same way, believing the same thing, and forcing you to do the same, then for me, something's not right, because I'm a unique person, and so are you. So continue to journey on, staying true to your soul, and let's continue to do this thing called life.